Hello friends and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to see the last portion of your chapter number 2, that is food poisoning, right? In that, what is the food poisoning, what are the different reasons for the food poisoning, how can we preserve the food, and at last nitrogen cycle we are going to see, right? So today let's start our today's session for food poisoning. See here, food poisoning. So what is it called as a food poisoning? Sometimes when we go to the doctor, right? Must be you also went sometimes that my stomach is paining and it's very troublesome. So doctor, please give me some medicine. Then doctor will ask you the question. So what did you eat yesterday night? Right? Or in the morning if you are going to evening then, and did you eat something outside? Yes. So this all will gives him the idea that if you have eaten any kind of food from the outside, right, or sometimes stale food you have eaten by mistake, then possibility is that the food is not good, and that may cause poisoning in your body, and the result of that may be the stomach ache is there, right? So that time doctor will say you that the reason for the stomach ache is a food poisoning. See in textbook, see why the food poisoning occur. Food poisoning could be due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms, right? So the spoiling of food is there, that is done by the microorganism. So this is again another way of causing damage to the food of microorganism. So whenever any kind of food is damaged, spoiled by microorganism, then that food, we are saying that food is a poisoning. And if any person is eating such kind of food, poisonous food, then that person is suffering from a food poisoning, right? Now in this case, food poisoning, these microorganisms releases some toxic substances in the food, and because of these toxic substances only our food get spoiled, right? And such poisonous food, if anyone is eating, then it may cause serious illness, and if it is very dangerous and eaten in a large amount such food, then even death can also be occur. So this is the food poisoning caused by microorganisms, right? Here the microorganisms releases some of the toxic substances which causes the food poison, and such poisonous food if anyone eat, then serious illness will be there, or sometimes even the death occur, right? Now we avoid this food poisoning, we need to preserve our the food, right? So how can we preserve our food? So here are some of the methods given about food preservation, right? Now see here, in food preservation, you can see the bread left unused under moist condition, if you will keep, then this bread will get attacked by a fungus, right? Now whenever the fungus is attacked on the food, definitely the fungus will release some harmful chemicals, poisonous substances in the on the bread, and the bread get spoiled, right? So how can we identify that food is get spoiled, right? So for that the three categories are there. Whenever the food is spoiled, then it will emit bad smell, right? Very dirty smell will be there. The second thing is that whatever the normal taste is there of that food item, it will be changed, right? So the same taste we are not getting if we are eating the spoiled food. And the third symptom is that the change in color. Whatever the food color is there, that color will get changed. Now for this you can take various examples, right? So whenever any food gets spoiled, then it smell bad. Maybe you have seen that sometimes the sabzi or dal, whatever your mother made, and if it is spoiled, then it will give very bad smell, right? So here this spoiled vegetable or sabzi and dal gives you a bad smell. Next one is that it has a bad taste, right? So take an example of rice, right? So it will also form one what we can say, a straight line fiber like structure when we pick up it, right? That, right? So that structure will also be formed. This is one more character we can say for the spoiled food, right? But here for bad taste, by mistake suppose we have eaten the roti or rice which is a little bit spoiled, then the taste will be different, right? The next one, change in color. Even same dal is there, then if dal is spoiled, then its color will be changed. And another thing, bad taste, take an example of milk, right? So whenever the milk is gets spoiled, that time its taste will be little bit sour, right? So this sour taste of milk is there, gives us indication that the milk is spoiled, right? So these are the characteristics of the spoiled food. See here, some more example is given by the Paheli. She brought some mangoes, but she could not eat them for a few days. And afterwards, when she found these mangoes, they were spoiled, right? But at the same time, she thought that whatever her grandmother is making a pickle of the same mangoes, that pickle was not spoiled for many days. Maybe for one full year the pickle will be remain as it is without spoiling. Then how is it possible? The same mango if we are keeping, then it will be get spoiled. But pickle if it is made of that same mangoes, then it will be last for long time. So for that, see, some of the methods are there by which we can preserve our food for very long time, for short time also as well as for long time. Now what are these methods that we will see? Now in that, see, first method is a chemical method, right? So by the chemical method we can preserve our food, right? Means here we are preserving our food from the attack of microorganism with the help of chemicals. Now which are these chemicals? See here, salt and edible oils. These are the two important substances which are commonly used chemicals which generally used to check the growth of microorganism, right? So as these salt and oil check the growth of microorganism, microorganisms cannot grow, so they are not able to spoil our food, right? So that's why these are called as a food preservatives. Now listen, you take an example of raw mango, right? So if you apply salt on that raw mango, it will release the maximum amount of water from the cells, right? And it will get dehydrated. So whenever such dehydrated condition is there, occurs in mango, same it will be happen with the microorganism. Whenever any microorganism come in the contact with the substance where the salt concentration is more, then automatically, as the salt concentration is more outside, bacteria will also get dehydrated, right? Their body will lose the water, and in this way bacteria will get killed. Simple thing, in this way salt preserve the food by killing the microorganism. And second one, edible oil, it is said that whenever we add oil on any substance, right? So you know that oil is floating on the water surface. So whenever we make a particular layer of oil on any one substance, then it will avoid the entry of the microorganisms with that food substance. As the microorganisms are not entering through oil in the food substance, food will not spoil, right? It will be preserved. So it is just very simple that salt and edible oils will be act as a food preservative and preserve your food from the growth of microorganisms, and their microorganisms, as they are not growing, and if they comes, then also it will be killed by the salts. Food will not be spoiled. Very simple, right? So this salt or oil, which food items are there which will be preserved by using these two substances? See here, salt or acid, right? It will be used to preserve the pickles, right? Then sodium benzoate is salt, or sodium metabisulfate. These are again the two substances. These are two chemicals which are also used as a common preservatives, chemical preservatives. Remember these names. One is sodium benzoate and second one is sodium metabisulfate along with the salt and edible oil, right? So these are some common preservatives and they are used as a chemical to preserve the food. Even the chemicals are also used, these chemicals are used to preserve jam and squash, right? So they will not be spoiled if you add in them the chemicals. So in this way, these are the chemicals which will preserve your food. See here, some of the food items given here which is preserved by the common salt, right? That is NaCl. It is used to preserve meat and fish for ages. For long time you can preserve the fish and meat with the salt, right? Even if the meat and fish is covered with the dry salt, so automatically I just now said that how the bacteria will kill the microorganism and not allow in growth of any kind of bacteria, right? So adding salt in the food and preserving it for long time is called as salting, right? So salting is used to preserve amla, raw mangoes and tamarind. Tamarind means imli, right? So amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, these are preserved with the salt as well as fish and meat. These two substances will also be preserved with the salt. So remember all these examples which are preserved by the common salt. Then as like the salt, sugar is also there where it is used as a preservative. Now which are the food substances which are used where sugar is used as a preservative? See the examples: jams, jellies and squashes, right? So all these are preserved by the sugar. So in this little bit large quantity sugar will be added, and because of that sugar all the microorganisms are not able to spoil these food items, right? Now whatever the procedure takes place in the common salt to kill the bacteria, same here in presence of sugar also, as the sugar concentration will be high, bacteria will get dehydrated and get killed. So in this way, by adding extra sugar we can preserve jam, jellies and squashes, right? So in presence of sugar the moisture content will be reduced, and here the no moisture is there, right? Water will be less. It will inhibit the growth of bacteria which are responsible for spoiling of food. Now the next one is preservation by oil and vinegar, right? Now in this, use of oil and vinegar is there. It will be preserve the food for long time as well as it will kill the bacteria. Bacteria are not able to live in presence of oil as well as in a vinegar. See, so this prevents the spoilage of pickle, right? Why? Because bacteria cannot live in such environment, right? Along with the pickle, the vinegar and oil is used to preserve the vegetables, fruit, fish as well as meat. That's why whatever the vegetables we make or sabzi we make, by adding little bit more oil, it will not spoil soon, right? It will be last for longer time. Next one, see, heat and cold treatment. Very simple. Whenever you want to preserve any food material, then you have to heat it, right? Take an example of a milk. If you want to preserve the milk for 2 days, then you have to boil the milk. When we boil the milk, then whatever the microorganisms are present in the milk, it will all be get killed. Same here, whenever rainy season is there and we get a little bit dirty water, right? Or maybe unhygienic water in which maybe the disease causing microorganisms are there. The water is looking clean, but possibility is that in that dysentery or any other microorganisms are there, and if we drink such water, contaminated water, then possibility is that we are also suffering from the disease. So to kill that microorganism, we generally boil the water, right? So here also, if you have to kill the microorganisms in the milk, you have to boil the milk. Means here we have used a heat treatment, right? You heat the substance, microorganisms will be killed in high temperature, and your food will be preserved, right? Same here, the cold treatment is there. All of you have freeze at home, right? So most of the time whatever the food remains, right, at night, that we will keep in the fridge. So definitely in the fridge temperature is very low. So in low temperature, the microorganisms growth will be stopped, or it is very slow, right? So the food if you keep outside, and the same food if you are keeping in the fridge, and observe these both the foods, then the food which is kept outside will spoil early, and the food which is there in the fridge may not spoil in that same time. But it's not compulsory that the food which you have kept in the fridge will not spoil at all. No, it's not like that. Actually in the low temperature, the growth of the microorganism is just slow down, right? Reproduction is there, growth is there, but it will be very slowly takes place, right? So the number of microorganisms required to spoil that food will take more time to reach, right? And that more time is there, extra time is there, till that time our food will be get preserved, right? So here these two techniques are there, heat treatment and cold treatment will preserve our food. So here example is given of the milk. You boil the milk before you store, and then the milk will be preserved, right, at least for 7 to 8 hours, right? Whenever milk is boiled, the microorganisms in the milk will be get killed, right? Similarly, when we keep our food in the refrigerator, due to low temperature, this low temperature inhibits the growth of microorganism, right? Now say one more term is here, that is pasteurization. Now pasteurization means what? Here this is one more method to preserve the food, right? And in this technique also heat and cold temperature is used. Generally whatever the milk we bring from the market in the form of packets, right, that is the Amul milk is there, suppose that packets are available. So these packets are sealed, and before sealing the milk in these packets, it is get pasteurized, right? Now pasteurized means what? Here pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling, as it is free from harmful microbes, right? Now how it is free from harmful microbes? And what is the process of pasteurization? See here, first milk is heated to about 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 seconds. Only for seconds. See here, 15 to 30 seconds milk is heated at 70 degrees Celsius temperature, right? For this much time only. And once the milk is heated at 70 degrees centigrade for 14 to 30 seconds, then suddenly it will be chilled and stored, right? So first you increase the temperature and suddenly you bring it down. Here the cooling will not be slow, right? Means then 70, then 69, then 68, 65, 60, 55, not like that. Suddenly it will be passed, hot milk will be passed to the very low temperature. So this is what it is called as sudden chilling, right? So whenever the such hot milk, here the bacteria will be get killed, right? No bacteria will be there. And when you this high temperature milk suddenly cools, then there is no any chance of growing bacteria in this milk. So this milk will be free from microorganisms, right? So this will prevent the growth of microorganisms in the milk, and in this way this pasteurized milk which is packed, that you can drink as it is because it is free from bacteria. Now this method is there. This method is discovered by Louis Pasteur, right? This is the name of the scientist. Pasteurization method is discovered by Louis Pasteur, and that's why he gave the name for this method is our name only, that is the pasteurization method, right? So the milk which is preserved in the large quantity is by the pasteurization method only. Next method is storage and packing, right? So by this method also we can preserve our food. Now in this method mostly dry fruits are there that will be stored. Even some of the vegetables are there which is sold in the market in the sealed airtight pack, right? So this will also preserve the vegetables from getting damaged. As it is airtight, no entry of the microorganisms will be there, and the air which is packed in that pack is again microorganisms free. Nowadays you are also eating so many food items from the market shop which are air sealed, right? For example, wafers you are eating, right? That is packed. So in that also you must have seen air is packed. Now in that actually this is not our air, it is a nitrogen gas, and this is also used to preserve the food, right? So here we can also preserve the food by using airtight packets, that is storage and packing, right? So these are the various methods of preserving our food from spoiling. So in that, see one by one. First we have seen the common salt, then sugar, then oil and vinegar, then heat and cold temperature, then storage and packing with the nitrogen gas, right? So here before this chemical method is also used where all these chemicals are used. So here these are some of the food preservative methods, right? So based on these 3 marks or 5 marks question will be asked. So all these you have to prepare very nicely, right? Now the next point is nitrogen fixation, right? Now you know that in the atmosphere a large amount of nitrogen is there, right? Now this nitrogen is needed to be fixed into the soil to make it available for the plants. Now you will say that this much huge amount of nitrogen is there in the atmosphere, then why there is need to fix into the soil and then take, right? Plant can take it directly from the atmosphere. No, it's not possible. Now why it is not possible? Because nitrogen is in the form of N2 gas, right? and this form of nitrogen is there that plants are not able to take. So this nitrogen is needed to be converted into nitrate and nitrite forms, right? So this work is done by some of the microorganisms, right? Now which are these microorganisms? So first example is given is the rhizobium, right? Now these rhizobium bacteria are there. They are microscopic microorganisms, right? Very small, lives in the soil, but whenever they are present in the soil, they are not able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate or nitrite form, right? So for that they have to enter into the roots of a plants, right? Now in which plants they are entering? Are they entering the roots of all plants? No. These microorganisms are only entering in the roots of leguminous plants, right? Now what are these leguminous plants? Leguminous plants are nothing but the plants which are having pods as a fruit, right? Now in which of the plants we know that their fruit is in the form of pod? Now what is mean by pod? You will ask, right? So pod is nothing but a sing. You must have seen, right? Sing, we generally calling it as a sing. All of you know the drumstick, right? Very long one, it is there. Shevga we are saying, right? So that is the sing. Next one, groundnut is there, that is also sing. Chana, sing, like that. Then another example, green gram, right? Black gram, whatever all grams are there, their food is a long pod like, right? So the plants which are giving such kind of fruits, in that all plants root we can see that these rhizobium bacteria are entering, living there, and once they live in that plant's root, then they fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Now why they are doing this when they enter into the roots only? Why they are not able to do this same outside whenever they are in the soil? Because they need kind of a protein, right? A substance which is only present in the plant's root. So that's why whenever they are there in the roots, that time only they are able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Now if the bacteria are giving the nitrogen to that plant, then what they are getting in return of that? So they are getting food as well as shelter in return of this. So here the plant is get benefited by getting the nitrogen from this bacteria, and bacteria get benefited getting shelter and food from the plants. So both of these organisms benefits each other. Whenever such kind of relation is there, then that relation is called as a symbiotic relationship, right? So in this symbiotic relationship, rhizobium bacteria lives in root nodules of leguminous plants, fix the atmospheric nitrogen, right? Now this atmospheric nitrogen is there, it will also be fixed by lightning process. You know that in the rainy season lightning occurs, right? So whenever this lightning occurs, that time also atmospheric nitrogen get fixed into the soil. That nitrogen gas is converted into nitrate and nitrite form, and it comes down with the help of rainwater and mix into the soil. Along with this rhizobium bacteria and lightning, there are some other microorganisms like azotobacters, right? Blue-green algae. They are also helping to fix this atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So this is what about given here a nitrogen fixation. Are you able to see these small nodules, right? So these are called as the root nodules, and in these root nodules rhizobium bacteria are stored and they fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Now the next point is nitrogen cycle. Now in this nitrogen cycle we will learn about how the nitrogen is moving in the nature in a cyclic form, right? You know that in the atmosphere there is near about 78% nitrogen is present in the form of gas, right? Now this nitrogen, as it is a very important constituent of the many organism, it will just transfer from one organism to the next, and finally as it is taken from the atmosphere, it is released back to the atmosphere. So when nitrogen released from the atmosphere move through various forms, organism to organism, and finally when it returns back to the atmosphere, then a nitrogen cycle will be complete. Let's see in detail. This is the nitrogen cycle which is given in your textbook. So start here, the atmospheric nitrogen. From here we will start, right? Now you have to see that from the atmospheric nitrogen, two arrows are going out, right? And only one arrow is coming back. So this is the outgoing and this is the incoming, right? So start in this direction where this atmospheric nitrogen goes. Just now we have seen that there are nitrogen fixing bacteria are there, blue-green algae is there, which fix this atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds, right? Along with these microorganisms, lightning is the process by which also this atmospheric nitrogen is also converted into nitrogenous compound. Now see the first arrow outside one, atmospheric nitrogen fixed by these all organisms. In bacteria, it turns fixed nitrogen into nitrogenous compound, and these nitrogenous compound fixed into the soil. The second arrow says that the atmospheric nitrogen converts into the nitrogenous compound by the lightning. Means here nitrogen moves from the atmosphere to the soil. Now once it is entered into the soil, then what happened? From the soil, you know that all the nutrients are absorbed by the plants, right? So this nitrogen will also be absorbed by the plants. You know all animals are depend on the plants as food, right? So from the plants, the nitrogen will be entered into the animal's body when they will eat these plants, right? Now in animals also, you know that this nitrogen may be used for building of the biochemical molecules, right? Or bodybuilding material, or it can be removed as an waste material, nitrogenous waste material, right? So that can be as an urine, right? So we are throwing the nitrogenous waste material in the form of urine. So these animals either release out this nitrogenous waste material in the form of urine during the excretion process, right? And it will be released automatically back into the soil. Or suppose if the nitrogen is used up in the bodybuilding of these plants and animals, then whenever these plants and animals will get died, right, then automatically after the death, these plants and animals are there, they get decomposed by the microorganisms, and all their nutrients are there, elements are there, that will be mixed automatically into the soil, right, by the decomposer. So nitrogen from the soil taken by the plants to the animals to back soil, right? So this is one cycle is completed. Second way is that this nitrogen which is present in the soil is also get released back into the atmosphere as an N2 gas, nitrogen gas, right? And this is done by some of the bacteria, right? So these bacteria are called as denitrifying bacteria, right? These bacteria are called as nitrifying bacteria, and these are called as denitrifying bacteria. So they convert these nitrogenous compound into nitrogen gas, right? So these bacteria turns the nitrogen into gaseous nitrogen, right? So in this way the nitrogen once again came back into the atmosphere. That's why whatever the amount of nitrogen is there in the atmosphere, that is the 78% of nitrogen is there in the atmosphere, it will never be changed, right? It will not be decreased or it will not be increase. It will be always remain constant, that is 78%, right? The same information whatever we have seen in this nitrogen cycle is given here. See in the short. See, 78% nitrogen gas is there in the form of nitrogen gas. It is essential constituent of all the living organism, and it is used to form the proteins, chlorophyll, nucleic acid and different vitamins, right? The atmospheric nitrogen cannot be taken directly by the plants and animals, and that's why it need to be converted into its nitrogenous compound. This can be done by the bacteria and blue-green algae which is present in the soil. They fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into the compounds of nitrogen, right? Now, nitrogen is then used by the synthesis of plant proteins and other compounds. When the animals feed on these plants, then these proteins are there that will be entered in the animal's body and becomes a animal protein, right? As well as other nitrogen compounds. Whenever the animals will excrete out the waste, this nitrogen will be released back into the soil, or whenever these plants and animals will get died, then these bacteria and fungi decompose them and again release the nitrogenous compound back into the soil by converting them into a nitrogenous waste, right? So this nitrogenous waste or nitrogenous compound finally come back into the soil once again. Again these simple forms of nitrogenous compound absorbed by the plant, again the same cycle will be repeated. If it is not done, then the soil nitrogen is there, it is converted back into the nitrogen gas, right, which will go back into the atmosphere by some of the microorganisms or the bacteria. These are called as denitrifying bacteria, and that's why due to this cyclic process the atmospheric nitrogen is there that will remain more or less constant. The percentage will never be changed, right? So here you have finished your chapter number 2, and below that exercise is there. So go through these exercise questions, right? Total here 9 questions are there. So you have to go through these all exercise questions. If you have any doubt in all these points, then you can write me in comments. If no doubt is there, then just like the video, right? Or write no any doubt, and this nitrogen cycle is there. On that 5 marks question will be asked. Either you have to describe the nitrogen cycle or you have to just draw the nitrogen cycle. Remember the thing that in drawing nitrogen cycle, arrows are very important. You have to show the arrows, right? If you miss showing arrows, then this cycle whichever you have drawn will carry 0 mark. I will not give a single mark also for that diagram, because if the direction of the arrow is changed, means the process occurs reverse, which will be completely make your answer wrong. So don't commit any mistake for giving arrows, or don't forget also just draw a line and leave. Don't do that, right? So nitrogen cycle diagram is also important and description is also important. And before that we have seen the food preservation, right? Food spoiling means what? Definition of food poisoning, then different methods of food preservation. So all these points are important for 5 marks question. So both the points are very important. All of you prepare these both points very nicely, and if any doubt is there, write me. If no doubt is there, complete your notes, go through the exercise, and whenever we will have the next meeting, that time we will discuss the question answers also of the same chapter. Do well. All the best.